Pew, pew, pew. Right, guys, we are back um, after pretty much a year's hiatus.
I've lost count. I've lost count. It's been a year and a bit, isn't it? Let's be fair.
It's been a while, but yeah, we are back in the world of
Podcasting.
multi-sport, of podcasting, of multi-sport media. Obviously, myself and Jack have had young babies, children, now have young families. So it is time restraints that we did not have.
We've always wanted to do it. Let's be honest. We've
Oh
always
yeah,
wanted to keep it running, but like you say, babies, work, commitments to other things. It just unfortunately sometimes the hobbies you enjoy doing to have to take a bit of a backseat. And with
oh yeah,
podcasting, as you know,
for
it
sure.
is constant. But I miss it. You miss it. We had a conversation last week, and we said, you know what, bollocks, let's bring it back. We've got to get those episodes running because we enjoy it as much as you guys. Even if no one listens, we quite enjoy just chatting and talking rubbish and all things OCR and multisport related. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's the focus.
that's it. So we are going to try and get out a episode once a week on a Friday. We are hoping the episode will drop around 10 o'clock every Friday, um, give or take an hour or two, depending on Jack's editing skills.
And internet
But
connection.
yes, an internet connection, that is a big thing. So we are just going to delve in, look at what 2023 will bring us on a multitude of fronts. Obviously, we are very heavily involved in OCR, but also we're going to have a quick look at triathlon and a quick little look at the functional fitness side of things, because that is both of those are growing massively. I think we can say now pretty much all events have taken a big rebound after the
COVID.
COVID years,
Yeah, 100%.
and we're seeing new events come, events return that disappeared before.
Even events that
So,
have had like a new twist put to them, like
yeah,
not. I'm not saying that certain brands events were going stale, but actually, I think it's a very exciting time. I keep saying to all my clients, it's a very exciting time for OCR currently. I know some out there will not agree with me, but I generally think it's a very good time for OCR, especially in the UK. With British obstacle sports doing a lot. Fair play
yep,
to James Burton and the gang. They're absolutely crushing. I think personally,
mm,
improving the sport in the UK, and I'm seeing a massive uprise in uptake in OCR from all levels, including the juniors, which is incredible, and that's something else we can talk about later. Maybe
yep.
even later future, events we can go to and stuff. But yeah, it's really, really good times at the minute for OCR.
No, definitely. I think we'll start with OCR. So we will go with the big news of the big brand, Spartan. Obviously, they have taken burpees away from the competitive waves. This was kind of more of the shocking news for most people. What's your thoughts on this, Jack?
Yeah, saw it coming. Saw it coming months ago. To be fair, well, years ago. They've been talking about. I think Dave Watson was probably on our podcast about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe voicing the opinion that wasn't very, wasn't well taken. But what do I think? What do I think? I'm split. I'm going to sit on the fence because personally, for me, I actually like a burpee. I hate doing them. Hate failing obstacles and actually doing the burpees. But I like the idea of something as grueling as a burpee if you fail. I think there should be a punishment, and I think burpees is a great punishment. However, however,
But let's use you as an example,
okay,
because you've been burnt by burpees,
yep,
and you've had advantages, or not advantages,
yep,
but people having burpees has helped you
yep, 100%.
get races. So obviously, a couple of years ago, you got pulled up for a technical infringement with a burpee and ended up being docked a place
Yep,
at a race.
yep,
I think penalty loops personally are much easier for Spartan, the technical officials, to manage as a penalty over burpees, because Obviously, burpees, we've seen a lot of different styles of burpee.
Yeah.
I would say the Europeans have a very interesting burpee style um, compared to the
Even
more
the Americans,
strict.
right? Even the Americans, like I remember
True.
watching Tahoe 2 years ago. I think me and you watched it at a race actually, and we're looking at it going, "What are those burpees?" You know, like, and this is supposed to be the World Championships, you know.
Yeah,
But
I
then
think it
again,
was
we've
it's
been quite
difficult.
lucky because in the era of Kyle RD,
Hmm.
we've always been quite strict on burpees in the UK. You know, like we've
Very strict.
always been quite strict. So even like you say, those Europeans that come over, Samuel Castor being a big one for me when he came over to Windsor that first year in
Yep.
2017. He got massively screwed over by burpees because he wasn't doing them to the UK standard, and
Hmm.
this is the very reason why they've stopped burpees because unfortunately, a bit like look, the amount of money in the Premier League sport right now, in FIFA, in World Cup, in everything, they still can't get VAR right. They still can't get, refereeing decisions right. How are you going to expect realistically a small brand like Spartan to get it absolutely bob on? That said, they do tend to get it right in Hyrox, and they do tend to get it right in CrossFit with the judging. So, but if you look at those two competitions, they have a referee or a judge or a volunteer at every single obstacle or exercise or whatever it is, the penalty. Literally 1 rep, 2 rep, 3 rep, no rep. Unless you're going to do that at Spartan, which was not possible because they could barely even get enough volunteers to run the races. And that's not Spartan's fault, to be fair, but unless you're going to have that amount of volunteers, that amount of people keeping an eye on the actual form of burpees, which wasn't going to happen, it is a bad idea. So
No.
loops have been made. However, my caveat and my issue with loops is, especially the last 2 seasons where they've introduced loops, and even the last few races, I think burpees have only really been on. I think burpees were on the spear, weren't they, at Europeans this year?
Yes.
I don't know, because I didn't miss.
No, I
But
hit my spear, so
I
I
think
don't
it was
actually know.
burpees, which is interesting because that's the first time I've seen burpees at a spear for a long time. But that penalty loop, mate, it's pointless. It is unless you're going to have a carry or that penalty loop is going to be at least 2 minutes worth, which it never is, by the way. A
Yeah.
200-metre run on a smooth bit of grass is no penalty to anyone, especially a runner. And I know we keep saying, "Oh, it's a runner's game," blah blah blah, but especially to someone that's already. And I would say as well, like say for instance you've hit a spear, you're already in a running formation, so you're already running, and when you come off your penalty loop, you're also in a running formation. You haven't had the muscles haven't changed, you haven't had to stop, you can just go, shit, I've missed, bang, go. Whereas with burpees, it's take your hat off, put it in front of the camera, get in front of the camera, do the burpees. Now you're
Yeah.
screwed. And it's not necessarily the 2 minutes there at the burpees. It was I remember Windsor, that's right, Windsor, like 4 years ago. That's the same year Samuel Castor came through and missed up. I was in front of everyone at that race, right? Tristan Steed, everyone. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm having the best race of my life. Get to Twister, fail. Typical old school Jack. Failed Twister midway through.
It's watching people go by.
Doing burpees, watching people go by. It wasn't just the 2 minutes I missed out at the burpees. It was then the 4 minutes afterwards where I'm absolutely hanging out of my arse.
Oh yeah.
Because you, Scott, Jesse, everyone else has started to come through, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And obviously you guys haven't done burpees, so you're already at that better pace, you're a better heart rate, whereas I'm jacked up, I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? And then that's the effect of burpees. It's not necessarily the time there and then, it's the a knock-on effect that it punishes you. I just don't think a lap does that. So,
No.
and I've talked a lot here, so my opinion is, give someone a carry. Fuck it, let's go carries. Give someone a heavy weight and go, right, you stand there for a minute, Sonny.
Yeah, I think so. Nuclear Races just had the Challenge Cup event, and their penalties for the 9 challenge obstacles they had was a rec bag carry.
Did it work?
Yes, it was much harder than just doing a run. To be fair to them, they had enough rec bags for all of the thing. That is what I fear about Spartan. They're not going to have enough
Standard
carries.
Yeah.
Yes, I get a carry would be much harder. Probably be the right call, but a penalty loop is still in there. And
How about a crawl?
Yes,
Like
crawl.
not a barbed
Yeah,
wire, but maybe like literally like
a net
a
crawl.
net crawl. Just say
Yeah.
right, every penalty is going to be a 10 meter net crawl. There and back.
Yes, that would be a lot harder, definitely. Um, at the end,
Standardized. It's easy to set up.
yeah, I
You
think
know.
at the end of the day, we've got to remember we're talking about a penalty. So realistically, you should not be getting it.
Well,
If you're training and you're trying, the
yeah.
most failed obstacle is what? Spear
Spear.
for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the some most people's 50-50. If you're thinking about, oh, the burpees, oh, it's going to ruin my race and something, but at the end of the day, if you do all your obstacles and you're
You want
just
to do it?
hoping,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're just hoping somebody's going to fail for you to get higher, then it's not really what you should be looking at.
And this is a conversation for another podcast, but I still feel people should not be playing the spear. I do not think it's a 50-50. I hate when people say that.
It's
Actually,
50-50.
it actually grates my ticket. I'm like, no, it's not.
Although I had quite a good spear year this year, I think I
Spear
missed
year.
one.
How's your
Spear
spear
year,
year?
yeah, oh, every year
I haven't missed one this year. Not at all.
There you
Second, I
go.
think 3 in a year now. Three in a row.
I
Three in a row.
missed one at Henley, the first race of the year. But other than that, good spear year.
Good spear year. How's
So,
your spear year been?
yes, tell us how your spear year was. Right, so that was the main kind of controversial rule change, but like you say, we've seen that come in a mile off. They've been trying to introduce this for quite a long while. The other headline was 3K.
Yep.
Spartan are bringing in a 3K fast, intense kind of course. We've seen them attempt this a few times. If you've watched the Spartan Games second season, and I believe they had it in the first season as well, they've had a very similar setup. They also had it at a race on a Friday night before. We actually spoke to Logan Broadbent after he won that event.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear from Logan, go check out his the podcast we did with him in previous. So the main thing with the 3K is that the majority of elite series races will be this 3K. So if you go to Spartan Zendesk,
Which I don't quite understand. I mean, I do understand it, but I don't quite understand why they've done this. And I think this is why
it's
they've
hard.
pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah.
We've already heard top stars and like Lindsay say stuff, Ryan say stuff. We've had opinions of those top guys. For every other mere mortal in the world, I generally do think this 3K option is awesome for OCR.
Oh yeah.
And they've done it for OCR, not just Spartan. It's not. I do think Spartan can be greedy and blah 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 branding. Of course, they're a business; they want to earn money. However, I do think actually Spartan have their OCR hat on right now and thinking actually, what can we bring to the masses that one looks great, two is easy to set up, three potentially could go forward as a really good format, and four branding, media, sponsor. It works. Running a 15-mile beast does not work. Unfortunately, as fun as it is, it does not work for TV rights. It does not work for branding. It does not work for the athletes. So 3K is the way forward.
3K ticks all the boxes you're looking for. It's going to be a good style for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Because it's short, fast, intense. It'll be much better for TV because again, short, fast, intense. You're going to be able to have multiple types of a 3K race. So you'll have a solo, you can have a knockout, you can have points, you can have a team. I think we're going to see a rise of more like a team event from this. Obviously, at the World Championships in Abu Dhabi, they are going to have a team style 3K event, which will be probably the first time we see the new iteration of this one. So if you go to Zendesk Spartan, they already announced on there the NAM Elite Series rules. All events will take place on the brand new 3K distance. So this is the Elite North American Series. So there will be 5 races. It's best 4 out of 5. They're going to do it as a points system. So it will be the normal 300, 264, the normal point system that we are familiar with at Spartan Elite Series. But it will all be on 3K. So at minimum, at minimum, there is going to be 3K races next year in the North American hemisphere. I'm guessing one in Mexico, one or two in Canada, and the rest in the US, as they did this year with their longer series. They had obviously the Supers, the Beasts, and stuff. They haven't said anything about prize money. It's coming soon, but it will be released in December 2022. So more than likely at the World Champs, they will make a lot of announcements of where this race will be. I anticipate them releasing a European style one and then rolling out to other parts of the world.
We
We
assume,
assume,
that
yeah.
obviously. Also, we assume that they might trial it in Europe, maybe UK. Pick a few events here and there and just try it as see if it works.
Oh, I think we'll be getting a 3K race in the UK and maybe in Europe. I think there will be a European series, but we will see if they announce that soon.
What will be interesting is how they pick the elite. It won't be such a bad thing in England because we haven't got more than 40 elite in England anyway. But in general, how they pick who goes in.
Yeah, that's going to be. Are they going to use rankings from the past few years? Are they just going to open it as an invite system and then you race the first few and get like a dropouts?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it will be interesting.
It'd be cool to give everyone an option because obviously, as we know, there might be some people from outside of Spartan that are pretty good at the 3K style of racing that have never done really Spartan, so they won't be in Spartan's ranks, right?
Oh, you'll get some ninjas that will be amazing at this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You'll get some more classic OCR short course guys that are going to be epic at this. I personally can't wait to see how good Leon is at this.
Yeah.
Obviously, we know VJ has focused his race season around the 3K OCRWC event before.
Yeah.
I'd love to see what he's going to be like on this kind of.
He will crush it. Ultimately, surely he's got to be one of the best out there already at this. He's a world champion at this level, isn't he?
Yeah.
Leon exactly. But it would be interesting to see what sort of course. Let's talk this. What if you were the ID tomorrow? You had a 3K course. I don't know how many obstacles they say. Are they saying 5 obstacles per lap?
And I think it was 10 per lap. And then it was, I don't know if it was a K per lap, like 3 laps.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, 1K, bang, bang, bang. What they'll obviously do is, like, for instance, if they do it at Henley, which we're thinking they potentially might, that's just hearsay, but we're thinking, what they'll do is they'll have a field that fits the Beast course and the Super course, but that field will be a K, and it will have 10 obstacles in that field.
Yeah.
And they'll use that as the course, obviously.
And what we've heard is this isn't going to impeach on the normal races. So there's still going to be your Super, your Sprint, your Beast.
Is that a word? Impeach?
Impeach? Impede, maybe. Impeach?
Impeach.
But, so this is going to be a Friday night affair, I believe, what we've been hearing. So
awesome.
that's going to be cool. It's going to add another element. Yes, you might have to get there early. You might have to race on a Friday, but it's 3K. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, I think, you're going to have at least a couple of upper body styles. So you're going to have a multi-rig, twister, definitely.
Do you think twister will be in there?
Yeah, I think so. I would like to see it in there. I think you need the multi-rig because you've got to have some technical, fast but technical obstacles.
Looking back at when they've done it on the Spartan games, what was the course they did it on there?
Oh Lord! Now you're asking. That was a long time.
Hoist was there, wasn't it?
Hoist was there. Monkey bars. There was walls, obviously. I think there was a short carry.
See, all of a sudden you're taken away from the traditional OCR, aren't you? Like as soon as you put those heavier weights in there, I know they're not heavy, but as soon as you put picking a bag and running with a bag,
depends how short it is, though. Depends how short it is. If they make it up and back super short, then
it's a game changer, but not really a game changer. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it kind of just goes with it. Yeah, you got to have like a spear. They're talking about one of the laser guns from modern pentathlon style because that has been.
And I'm not saying where I've heard it from. I've heard, and I'm not saying where I heard it from. Spear will be gone by next year.
What, replaced by?
Replaced, not gone, but replaced.
Replaced. Interesting,
And that's
interesting.
from good. I can't say where I got it from, so I don't want to get them in trouble. But good authority, someone within Spartan has been talking, and I heard. That's what I've heard. Now, whether it will be replaced with one of those or a laser style spear.
Oh, a laser
where
spear.
it doesn't have to stick; it has to hit a certain point. So you know, like how you get those laser darts.
Yeah, yeah.
Similar to that.
Okay, interesting, interesting. Obviously,
This is all just made up of my
this
brain.
is
It's not,
yes,
just Jack talking shit again.
but this is all leaning towards the Olympics, and this is all leaning towards OCR being included as the fifth discipline in modern pentathlon, which has pretty much been ratified. If you've looked at the modern pentathlon website, they said it's like 85% that it has been agreed to. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, the 3K was probably the big elite thing, but also they kind of snuck in something else with this.
We like a bit of snuck in.
Yeah, with these three things. So the third thing was they have announced there is a new 3-event triple crown. Obviously, they're in partnership now with the FISO World Obstacle. So the new trophy in obstacle racing, the Triple Crown, consists of 3 championship events: the 100-meter World Obstacle Championship, the 3K Spartan World Championship, the 24-hour Toughest Mudder Race. That is a big range. 100 meters, 3K. We'll miss out all the other ones and we'll go straight to 24 hours.
Yeah. It's because
So,
there's no one person going to win that. I'm sorry. Like, the only people that would come close would be Ryan Atkins, or John Aber, mainly because of that longer distance.
yes.
However, they can't touch someone like even VJ in the world of OCR at 100 meters. And then on top of that, it only takes one ninja guy to turn up and he'll destroy VJ. So it's like,
yeah.
I know what they're doing. That's really good marketing. It's like, here, come take our money. We'll give you billions.
Well, they haven't put the prize amount, but if anyone wins all 3, they will walk away with the ultimate prize. But you're talking guys there. What about females?
Yeah, exactly that.
Chris Radesky has been. Oh my lord!
If I was not married,
she has been tearing it up. So obviously she's Hyrox World Champ, now World's Toughest Mudder Champ. So
mate, I was watching that and I was talking to someone and they were going, "Who's going to win this?" Then and I was like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and at the time Chris was like on a second lap, sitting in 15th. I was like, just watch Chris, because you know what's going to happen. It will be like the 15th hour when everyone's starting to like, I'm feeling really good, and then boom.
That's the deep one when you go into the night time. But I think there could be a female out there that could do it.
More so than male, and that just shows you how far the sport has gone on the male side, and probably not as much on the women's side. Possibly, I don't know.
I think you're seeing a lot more now. Now we're getting into those distances where we're getting specificity. So athletes are really specifying their training towards 100 meters.
Which we said like 5 years ago, did we not?
Yes, we did. We did. So I thought I'd just mention that because that was a bit of a sneaky one that they just added in that no one's really spoken about.
Yeah.
What else has been happening in the world of OCR then? So British
sports, I was going to say British sports, obviously.
British obstacles. So let's have a little look at what they've done. Obviously had a great 2022.
Well, name change for a start.
Name change, which is nice. A little branding and logo change, which actually looks quite nice. So they
first junior championships.
They did,
Sorbonne, which I was at and recorded. That was actually very good. I was very impressed with the whole setup.
It looked like a great event.
And I tell you what, we've got some kids out there. I tell you, you don't realise. I mean, I run a facility in Suffolk, and there's kids that turn up, but actually, when you get them racing, you look and you watch them, and you go, do you know what? There's some seriously talented kids out there.
Which is great to hear.
Just keeping them going. Do you know what I mean? Just keeping them going. I think they had like 100 people turn up for that.
Wow.
And literally, I think 20% of those had never even done OCR before. So, like,
No.
quite a few of them are brand new to it, and they just got on, did the course, and the rigs weren't easy. Do you know what I mean? There was
No.
some, and the conditions were even worse.
Yeah, look rainy.
It was very rainy. Everything was just soaking wet. As well as safe
Lovely.
matching on the rigs. But
Yeah.
yeah, very impressed with how they set it up, and all the kids had turned up.
Yeah. So that was one of the successful events they ran this year. They also had the UK OCR series, which
Yep.
was pretty well taken up in 2022.
Connected with that other
Um,
podcast that we shall not name.
we're all
No,
friends. We're
we're
all
going to start the
friends.
rivalry.
So in 2023, they are bringing it back, which is pretty good.
Yep.
It's a very mix of events. They're starting off with a Spartan, then they've got a Challenge Cup at Nuclear. Um, they're going up to Scotland, Beach Ballistic. They got Nuts Challenge, Total Warrior as well in there so far, and I believe they're going to try and get another 2 races in. So that is pretty cool for them to do that again. Obviously, that's the individual one. They have a master section, and I believe they're doing it as team sections as well,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. Other things they have announced is that they're going to have trial races for the FISO World Championship. So you're going to have a 3K trial race, 15K trial race,
Yep.
and there will be a selection as well for the elite and age groups.
There's a pretty good
There's a YouTube video
that we can
which
tag.
we'll link in. So that kind of elaborates a bit more on it. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about those trial races. They're going to be interesting. It's a kind of a format we've seen in running, quite a lot in running. You see this. The US marathon trials are huge. They've been a massive event for quite a while. We had the British marathon trials event in London, I believe, not too long ago for the Olympics.
So here's my concern with doing trials at OCR. Like, I appreciate it works in other things, like even like swimming, right? All swimming pools are the same within reason. Okay, you get your more dense water, more chlorinated, wider, bigger, but in general, the water is the same. Like, you're going to be pulling the same water. With running, most tarmac is the same. Yes, okay, you get hills and corners, but generally, but with OCR, obstacles are completely different. There's no standardisation across the board with all training facilities, right? And there isn't in it anyway, because we're not big enough. Here's my concern. That there's only one place in the UK that really can tailor for a mass market, and that is Nuclear. So everything is going to go through Nuclear, which I don't really have a problem per se with, but what I'm saying is you've already got a massive advantage to all the Phoenix that train there week in, week out, day in, day out. So you can name off 8 people, men and women, that have already got a huge advantage because they know those rigs inside out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's right if you're then picking for a national selection.
You're right. It's hard because that is one of the places that can tailor for this style event. It's obviously going to be a probably large scale, quite well taken up event. There will be a load of female elites. There'll be a load of guy elites. There'll be a lot of age groupers there as well, trying to get their place at this first championship for FISO. Yes, you are going to have an advantage if you have trained there a lot. I just did the Challenge Cup a few weeks ago. James Burton won the event and he absolutely crushed it.
10 minutes of it stupid, wasn't it?
Oh, he just knew every single obstacle. He knew what to do. He knew the land, and he just ran one of the best races I've seen for a long time. Yeah. Whereas most of the time, I ran up to an obstacle and went, "What is this?" I actually had to ask one of the volunteers with the obstacle with the tires. You have to go under, through. I was like, do I just go under and crawl? Do I jump over? I had no idea. That wasn't one of the 9 challenge obstacles they had done videos on before. It was an easy obstacle, but I was just looking at it like, oh my lord, what do I do here? Yeah. But luckily the guy told me and I managed to get through, but albeit very slowly. But yes, it will make a difference. Personally, I'm very glad I went and did Challenge Cup this year, so I actually know what the course looks like.
Yeah, sure.
yeah, it's going to make a difference on race day. But at the end, if you're training super hard, you're working on grip endurance, rig technique, running. You'll be giving yourself the best chance
Right,
possible.
100%. And I'd always say to someone
Yeah,
like, look, go to the course, try it out. If you're going to do nuclear, go to nuclear, go train there. You can pay to do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Great, go support the company. 100% get that. Would you not like prefer to see like still use nuclear for instance, but do it like they did at Swanbourne for the UK Junior Championships? Actually say to companies, right, come in and build a rig. So you've got a new rig. So you've got a bit like how they've done it before, where you have different companies. You know, whether it be PT Barn, Rumble,
Yeah,
come in, build a rig, or even bring one of their rigs. So then you get a good mix of obstacles.
for sure. Not that I wouldn't. I think the 9 Challenge Cup obstacles they had this year
Yeah,
were not all of them were specific because some of them are just there all the time.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Stairway is obviously just there, but the rigs I believe they did change
Mix it
up,
up.
and
Yeah.
not many people went on the rig beforehand.
No, that's
What
rubbish, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, what I would like is them to just completely change those rigs again. Keep the rigs. The rigs were fine.
Yeah,
Change them up, make them new.
yeah,
Do not let anybody go on them.
yes.
On race day, it's either let everybody go on them or
Or
don't let
don't.
anybody go on
Yeah,
them.
you've got to make a rule, haven't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
On race day, then pretty much everyone's got the same kind of thing. You're seeing this for the first time, and you're on it for the first time, or just say, look, the rigs are here, 2 months out, get down there, train,
Yeah.
and just tell everybody
And
that.
what you
So
could do is like to make money from that from a business point of view is say to the guys, right, if you've signed up within the 2 month period, which most people are going to have done,
hmm.
we'll give you, pay and play for a fiver for an hour.
Oh yeah, yeah, of
So give
course.
you actual slotted times where you can come down and focus on those rigs.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Obviously, they're a business as well. They want to make money. It's understandable. They need
But
to do
what
that.
but what nuclear
So
seem to do is like, no, you cannot go on this rig, and no, you cannot go on this rig. And then you look on Instagram and you see everyone playing on it. You think, well, hold on, I thought the idea was not to go on that rig, but yet everyone is going on that rig. And it's a bit like make a rule, stick with that, please, thank you.
yeah, it's a difficult one, I guess. But I think it's interesting that they are going for this trial race. I think it's great that they're going to do it, and it's going to have like an impact on who's going to go to these World Championships.
It will be heaving that race because even if
Oh
people
yeah.
don't want to qualify for the FISO,
Oh,
it's the
well, it's
Challenge
still
Cup.
it's still
It's a big
Challenge Cup.
race.
Yeah,
It's a big race. Everyone that's
definitely.
everyone will be there. I'm not going to be there because I'm doing another race. But everyone that's everyone will be there.
What race are you doing?
I'm doing the what am I doing? Triathlon. I'm going back to triathlon, Luke.
Oh wow, what triathlon you doing?
Oh, I'm doing an off-road triathlon. I'm doing
Ooh,
X-Terra. X-Terra is back in the UK for this
there
year.
we go.
Well, next year.
What
Sorry, next year.
next
Which
year?
we'll move on to.
We'll move on to that. We'll delve in. But yeah, so obviously as well they have the 3K event, which is
Yes.
a trial. We don't know too much about that because it hasn't been announced where it is, but there's definitely going to be one.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be great as well. I think we're going to see a lot of people try and do both,
Yeah.
and also some people specialize in either.
So here's a question. I'm going to put you on the spot now. We'll start with the women because that's a little bit easier for us to determine, I think, because we're male. Who, out of your pick of the women, do you think could do both? Just both, not one or the other. Who do you think
Could
do
do
both?
both.
Yeah, do you think it's possible, even at our level in the
Yeah,
UK?
yeah.
Do you think there'll be someone out there that will smash the 3K and the 15 from the women's side?
Yes, I think if you're looking at the 3K and the 15, you're looking at somebody like Becky Neal,
Yep.
Andrea, definitely could do it. Who else are we looking at? I think
I think any of the
Ra-
girls could potentially do it. It's
oh,
just
they can do it, but I think
I'm saying,
definitely.
is there someone do you think that could take both? Like, is someone like, for instance, on the male side, I throw it out there. Tom Tweddle for me is definitely going to be the most dangerous at the 15.
Oh yeah,
Do you think he's as dangerous at the 3?
yeah. For me, it depends what the free's going to look like. I
100%.
think that's going to be the big thing
Yeah,
because if it's super obstacle
which I think it
dense,
might be.
you're going to have somebody like Morgan Maxwell,
Yes.
who is ridiculously good on obstacles,
Yeah.
but may the longer distance might be a bit too long a distance.
Yeah.
But to be fair, he did really good at Challenge Cups and that kind of thing, and he's obviously building up his running, so it may not be a problem. But
No.
you're right, Tom Tweddle's definitely like the major player in the 15K.
But then does he really want to focus on 3K? Probably not. Do you know what I mean?
You know,
This is what
you
I'm
never
thinking.
know. You never know.
It'd be really interesting to see who actually goes for the 3K. I think everyone will go for the 15 just for just doing it anyway, because it's a nice
Yeah.
distance, it's a long race. Some people hate short course. Some people don't like the feeling that your
Yeah.
heart rate's through your mouth within the first 5 seconds, and actually it is a full out freaking sprint, isn't it? It's a
Well,
you know
do
it's
you
horrendous.
think do you think John's going to come and do it?
Yeah, maybe we could get John and ask him, but I don't see why John would come out his little pit of Norway right now for anything other than money. It's got to that point where the guy is too good. You
Oh,
know,
it depends. It depends what Pfizer are putting up as prize money.
100%.
They are putting prize money.
Yeah.
It's not announced what though, so we'll see.
I would say John Albon will be one of these guys, and people will hate to hear it, but he'll be one of these guys that he won't need to race the because what will happen is the UKSF, the British Obstacle Sport, will go to him and say, "Look, John, we want you as a part of Team Britain.
Oh, of
Wild
course.
card, you come in, you're a dead
No,
cert."
I would select him if I
Of
was on
course I
the
would, and I
committee.
would.
I wouldn't if he didn't come to I'd invite him to the trials.
Yep,
If he said he can't do it,
for whatever reason.
I would still select him.
Yeah, I
And
would. He has to
as
have
mu
one of those places. I'm sorry,
of
I don't
course
care. I know these people say, "Well, he should come to the race and do the race." Fine,
he
but
should. In
if he
essence,
turns
he
up
should.
at a 3K and I'm against him, that's me
Yeah.
fucked.
He should, 100%. But at the end of the day, the guy is one of the best to ever do the sport, and he has proven himself over and over again. He's a 3K and a 15K champion already in OCRWC.
Multiple times.
Multiple times. He's won Spartan World Championships, the Beast event,
Here's a quick question
distance.
for you. You watched the Worlds, I assume, as Inventory Worlds, OCR.
I have.
Do you think John would have beaten VJ, and do you think John would have beaten Tyler Veerman?
No, yes.
Do you reckon? So he wouldn't have beaten VJ at 3K?
I don't think he would have beaten VJ. VJ looked amazing on that course.
He
Like,
did.
oh, he was just flying. I think John obviously would have. Yeah, I think he would have won the long distance one.
Okay.
There would have been hands down. Obviously, Tyler Veerman. He's had an amazing year. He is a cracking athlete, but I just think John's that other level.
Yeah, next level, especially when it comes to that distance, right?
Oh yeah, God, you look what he's doing in the world of trail running now and mountain running, and it is absolutely ridiculous. So I just think any kind of longer distance, he has got to be nailed on one of the favourites.
We'll
I think
reach out to him.
Freak,
We'll get him.
yeah,
On. We'll reach out to him.
we'll get him on and we'll see what his plans are.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're two real interesting. The other one that I thought was very interesting from British Obstacle is they are going to host an adult
Ooh, yes.
OCR championships.
And that will have to be a separate course, right? Surely.
I'm hoping so. They've said it's in October. So we will see where,
Yep.
when, what style of race. Obviously, Nuclear have moved the Challenge Cup from the latter part of the year early,
Yeah.
just so it can be the trial event.
Yes.
So it sounds like they won't do one later in the year.
Yeah.
So that competitive style event at the back end of the year, there isn't really one in the UK.
Clearly, they had dropout of numbers, didn't they, the last couple of years? The numbers have been declining in the winter-style Challenge Cup. You know, I mean, I remember doing it back in 2017, and I remember standing in the shower with hypothermia going... It was actually just to see they passed me a cup of tea. I was like...
It was actually... there was quite a few people there when I did it this year, and they had warm showers.
They had warm showers, I get that. But in previous years, it has been the one to go to, isn't it? You've had Connor, Tristan, Brunner, all really battling it out for that top 5 space. This year, no offence to you guys that did do it, and well done to James Burke, because he, like you said, smashed it.
Oh,
I just felt like
really
the
good
numbers
race.
were a bit dwindly, a little bit like not everyone was there, do you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think that it's a cold thing. It's not a case of Nuclear being, you know, rubbish obstacles or anything like that, because they're brilliant. I think it's more of a cold thing than it is a course thing.
It wasn't that cold. I didn't actually... No, I didn't feel it too bad, actually. At the end, I was very grateful for the warm shower, which was lovely. But yeah, so they're the kind of like the highlights of what OCR, British Obstacle, I keep calling them OCR,
Yeah, so do
whatever
I.
it's
I know.
called.
It's a bit. We need to make our own name.
Yeah, British Obstacle have said. Obviously, we'll link their YouTube video, which has all the detail on it. And Scotland have also got a series which
Interesting,
they've
yeah.
announced.
I
Very
already know. I
interesting.
know quite a few people that are going to go to that. I think just for shits and giggles.
No, I think it'd be great. It's great to see them having something.
I'm
Tartan
actually,
Warriors
yeah,
back.
I'm actually signed up for 2 of the races, so I'm
Oh,
almost sitting there thinking, do I just go and do the other 2 just to get the points? But I'm not sure I really want a tough in January. To be fair,
yeah, and
yeah.
you don't look very Scottish.
No, I'm not. I'm a bit more German at the minute. Do you know what I mean? At least I got the beard coming back. I had the moustache, and she was like, "No,
Oh yeah, yeah.
that's not
Not
staying."
not just the tash.
So yeah,
Right,
but tough is the other one, isn't it? So yeah,
that'll
we'll
be
see.
cold.
We shall
That'll be
see. We shall
cold.
see.
So that's kind of the scope of UK OCR and
Jesus,
changes
was that like the
changes
last
at the
year?
top.
We're all into like 25 minutes, 30
Yeah,
minutes.
40 minutes of us chatting joys. So other sports. What else has been going on in the world of
Well, let's talk about
OC
Xterra because
in
that's one I've
UK?
already mentioned. Yeah.
Xterra, yep, Xterra is making a comeback in the UK. So if you don't know what Xterra is, it is off-road triathlon.
Yep.
You do a swim, you do a mountain bike, and then I believe it's a
Trail.
trail run.
Yep.
So that is Xterra. It has been here before. It is pretty big around Europe.
It's huge.
Huge around Europe.
A
They'll
lot of
have.
the other athletes will go over to Xterra to like train out of season. You know, like I know
Yeah.
Albert Soleil loves Xterra. You know, he does a bit of mountain biking and stuff as well. There's quite a few other athletes that multi-sport go across, which is
Oh,
you
definitely.
know
And it is obviously triathlons are super fun. Off road is definitely more kind of an OCR runner's cup of tea
yeah
because you've got that trail running, mountain biking, super fun. I know you do a lot of mountain biking out of season.
yeah.
I get out on the bike every now and then and fall off once or twice. Um, but yeah, no, that's going to be a great event. I think it's super interesting that they're trying to bring it back. Obviously, a guy we've had on the podcast before, Doug, is now working with Xterra at a pretty high position. He is trying to bring it back to the UK, made big things, and it's at Western Park,
Yeah, Western
I
Park, yeah,
believe,
like Midlands.
in May, the same weekend
Yeah,
as
Rush.
Nuclear Challenge
Yeah,
Cup. So
unfortunately,
I'm gutted because I would love to have done the Xterra race, but I will be at Challenge Cup. I believe Jack is going to go to Xterra
I think so. Yeah,
and cover that event and fall off his mountain bike once
many
or
times
twice.
and get humiliated by some triathletes. I'm sure because there's going to
Oh,
be some whippets
they will
out there.
be so fast.
I might be right in the swim and bike, but it'll be when they're running and they're running at like 4.5 minute mile pace, and I'm like,
Yes, so that's a great thing on obviously the multi-sport front that there's another event, an event that hasn't been in the UK for years, coming back. What's your thoughts on it, Jack? You think it's
yeah.
good to
So
have another event?
100%. I like the fact that Britain is catching up with the rest of the world with what we call multi-sport, right? It's I like.
Yeah.
I seem to. I don't know, and I'm assuming OCR community is the similar, although the Hyrox seems to throw the spanner in the works there. But I think we all like being outdoors. We all like doing OCR as our main sport, as our fun sport, as our weekend sport, or whatever it is. I'm a big advocate of like doing another sport on top of that sort of helps that sport out. You know, like cycling, swimming is really good for us because the more we run, and say for instance, I don't know, the average person's running 25-mile weeks, let's say, if you then up your mileage because you want to get fitter and stronger, chances of injury, chances of this, chances of that, more impact. I think that plays an effect, and then all of a sudden you have to manage that more and have to have a bit of a coach, and it all comes a little bit. Whereas the simple thing you can do, like start swimming maybe once a week, it's going to still help your fitness. There's no impact, start cycling. I mean, cycling's a brilliant way of building a good volume endurance, right? And it's low impact. And to be fair, if you're on a platform like I am behind me on Swift, or like you say, mountain bike in the winter, get muddy, go out there. for me, it's a massive crossover for OCR. I love it because it's not as competitive for me as OCR. It's not like if I lose, it doesn't matter. Like it's fun. It's still fun, but I can get a real good burn doing it. And I think sports like that are brilliant. And triathlon has always been one of those sports, right? But the problem with triathlon is it's a bit too clean cut and serious. Like you'll find this doing the Ironman, half Ironmans, things like that. When you get into that sort of road running and road cycling and pool swimming even, it's a little bit like you all of a sudden it becomes training again. You have to do 100 mile on the bike, you have to do 1,500 meters in the pool, you have to run at this pace. Whereas
biggest thing I found is expensive.
and not only that, and that's why I gave it up, right? Because at the time it was like, Jack, well done, you've qualified for GB level, go over to Austria, race. Oh, by the way, to get your bike to Austria is going to cost you 800 quid. It's a bit like, really?
Yeah.
I'm not a sponsored athlete. I can't afford that. And I picked a sport like running that eventually got me into OCR because it was cheaper. I still really like triathlon, but the problem, like I just said, it then becomes a little bit regimented and it takes it away then of being a fun sport and turns it more into a serious sport. Whereas I find X-Terra, I'm kind of hoping it will be different because I've already got the trail bike shoes, I've already got the mountain bike, and swimming open water is just, it's either fun or it's not. You either enjoy it or you don't, and I quite enjoy it. So, for me, it's still a fun race. It's a competitive race. It's something that I can train for, but it doesn't take away from my OCR season.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's only going to add to it. It's only going to add fitness. It's only going to add. It's going to make you do stuff that's less strenuous. It's going to make you do some things that may still help your body, but it's not going to crush you.
Keeps you motivated as well, right? Like from a
for
mindset
sure.
point
Oh
of view.
God, yeah.
How much
Definitely.
OCR is mindset?
Yeah, massively. I did the Ironman this year. It was so fun to do, and it was just great fun to train for. Mainly the swimming was me just trying to survive in the water. But the rest of it, as soon as I got on the bike and on the run, it was great fun. And I would definitely do a couple more triathlons next year, probably some local ones, and then I might try and do a bigger event one as well. So yeah, it's definitely something. I feel OCR is a gateway. Quite a lot of people come into OCR. We've seen a lot of people come in, maybe leave for other sports, or maybe just go for other sports. People have gone on to do ultra running. People have gone into the functional fitness world. Look at Jade Skillen. She was one of the best OCR athletes the UK had. She's gone over to functional fitness, and she's still on podiums over there. So, she's
Jesse's another one.
yeah, Jesse. He's been on podiums. George Edwards. He's now one of the master Hyrox coaches. So yeah, it's definitely gets you into OCR, builds up that kind of confidence that gets you into fitness and seeing what's out there. But I've seen, lots of people move on to, or even just dabble in different things like me and you, right? We do a bit of triathlon, we do a bit of Hyrox, we do a bit of this, do OCR. So yeah, it's definitely an amazing thing. It's great to see a new event come back to England, or a return, but a new style X-Terra event. You mentioned Hyrox as well. Hyrox, indoors, but I still feel there's this massive amount of OCR athletes taking on Hyrox. It's great to see them doing so well as well.
I'm yet to do one personally, but funny actually, something that's happening at my training facility, Feel Fit, is next year we're going to do our own Hyrox style session. So on a Thursday night, we're going to have 10 stations, 500 meters, and it'll be like a DecaFit Hyrox, that same style, but all outdoors. So, but it's going to have a bit of an OCR twist to it. And my idea is I'm going to have my members do it first, obviously, and then if that takes off, we'll do a little competition. But I definitely think, again, that's another good way of crossover, like you say, the crossover. A lot of my athletes that do OCR will do that because they see like the lifting in Hyrox as a good training for OCR.
Of course.
Or the Hyrox athletes that I've got like doing OCR for the running. Because it's like, I don't really run, whereas when I race at the weekend and do, a local race, that's good running for me because I'm not motivated enough to go and run myself, but I'll race to run,
There you go. You heard it here first. Field Rocks next year.
Field
Rocks is happening.
I think I see a lawsuit coming with that one.
Well, I was just going to call it was Field Fit. I was just going to call it Deca Fit, but they already got that.
They've already got it. Can't do it. Nicked it off me, the bastards.
Ah, god damn them. Yeah, I think also we're going to see some Deca style stuff, actual branded Deca mini events happen next year
Yeah,
around some specific gyms. I've seen a few gyms pop up around the UK that are now affiliated gyms.
yeah,
I think they're going to have some kind of mini comp just to kind of see what Deca Fit will be in the UK. So that's a great thing. Swing back to Hyrox quickly. The World Championships are in the UK next year in
yeah,
Manchester.
yeah, yeah.
That is going to be a huge event, especially for the UK kind of functional fitness scene. I know there's obviously a lot of people from OCR that have already qualified for this event, so that's going to be a well attended event. You're going to get a lot of international racers coming into the UK to do that event, so that might be amazing. Will we see Hunter take back his title?
Mate, there seems so many people. Every time I look at the Instagram now, it's like there's a new world tour record. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it just keeps changing
Yeah.
now, doesn't it?
Oh well, it's one of those sports, isn't it? It's such a young sport that
Yeah.
people are pushing the boundaries. People are changing what's possible. The world records are going by like a minute, 2 minutes
Which is crazy
further
because that
down.
first
Yeah.
time that Hunter got it, it's like no one's
Oh,
touching that, no one's touching that, no one's touching. Then all
I,
of a
I,
sudden, we're already 5 minutes lower. It's
Man,
like,
I honestly remember watching him win. I think it was the Elite 15, or I think he won it in Germany a couple of years ago in 2021, and I was like, no one is going to touch Hunter in this sport for ages, forever. Next year he goes and gets beat.
yeah.
It's crazy how it's just out of nowhere. People are
Also,
just
talking of
turning up.
Hunter, great example. He's just done an Ironman, isn't he?
He did. He just did
Yeah,
an Ironman. He, I watched some of his training videos for the Ironman, and they are hilarious.
yeah,
Some of the equipment he was using, especially the bike, the older bike he had, looked like it was a death trap.
yeah.
I don't even know if it had brakes. So,
The guy is a machine, honestly. To just rep out an Ironman on no training, really. Do you know what I mean? Like little bits of
no.
training, but nothing is.
Well, he did under 11 hours as well. It was
Yeah, which is
10:50
incredible.
something,
Which is
which is
incredible. Yeah.
that is an outrageous time. And
Yeah,
he's
that's a good time for a club member, let alone
oh
someone that doesn't
God,
train.
that's a good time for a lot of people. And
Yeah.
he's not light. He's not gone skinny Hunter. He's still pretty
Although
stacked.
the finishing line video, he looked fucked. He did look like he wanted to collapse.
Oh, he gave it all.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
say. So yeah, that's an amazing thing. But yeah, functional fitness seems to be growing only bigger in Europe and especially the UK.
And like you say,
Um,
obviously where you've just joined Rumble Fitness, they have their own OCR twist as well. So I do think,
yeah,
like I'm doing it, other team, I do think, I know Gavin's thinking about doing it in Scotland. There are now like us local facilities thinking, screw it, we can get on board with this and we can do our own style functional fitness. And I think you'll see that as well this year.
definitely. And I would only tell if you're a facility and you've got equipment, you've got space,
Do
just
it.
do an event. I think do some kind of functional one. Maybe you've not got the space to run a full OCR event.
Yeah,
Cool. Add a bit of OCR in to a functional
yeah,
fitness one.
yeah.
People are loving it right now, and they're wanting to do these kind of events. I'm actually gutted there's nothing near me, but I will be going down to Rumble and doing training and other little bits there, which I'm super excited for, to actually get some specific training in.
Yeah.
A little bit of a distance from me, but it will be fun, I'm sure, once I get there. But yeah, no, I think it'll be great, and hopefully this will only encourage people to start more facilities, have more gyms. This means more people will get qualified as British obstacle coaches, SGX coaches, fitness, Hyrox coaches, Deca coaches, which will be amazing. But yeah, so 2023 looks like it's going to be a huge year. Obviously, this podcast is back, so that's going to be an even bigger
We
thing
will
for the
try
year.
and cover as much as possible. We're definitely like what we're at. We can obviously cover. We've got big plans to try and help film some things as well, haven't we? And trying to get
Yep.
as much as we can. We're also going to put our podcast out on YouTube so you guys can watch our pretty little faces as well.
Hey guys.
I just realised we're doing that, and I've eaten my breakfast and drunk my coffee most of the way through this podcast. So if you want to watch me stuff my face, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, we're going to make it visual as well, so people can be a bit more engaged, so people have a bit more time. But like we say, every Friday the podcast will go out roughly about 10 o'clock, so people can tune in over the weekend on their long runs. And yeah, we'll try and bring as many good guests, and we're trying to cover everything, guys. We want to cover obviously chats like we've done today. We want to cover new news, news going forward. At some point there's going to be some controversial news that comes out, and we'll cover that.
Dun.
We also want to hit like the coaching side of things. Like that's something that did to my heart. More of the actual technical, what we feel. You might listen to it and go, "What the hell is he on about?" But yeah, and also bring in proper professionals, to in an interview and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all going on.
Yep, definitely. And just easy ways you guys can help us. You can just follow us on social media, drop us likes, follow us on the YouTube channel, have a little watch of the videos. We'll also be putting some clips of each of the segments on Instagram. We're on Facebook, Twitter. We're everywhere you would want to be. So yeah, we'd love to see you guys at events. Come say hey. If you've got something you want to come on the podcast, if you're a coach, if you're an athlete, if you're something, reach out to us, drop us a DM in Instagram or an email, and we will see you at events around 2023.
You certainly will. Peace.